Live from the place where I don't know what the hell I'm doing, it's the Geek Show podcast.
Fake it till you make it, baby.
Oh, we've got so much news and the business of show and our movie announcement to make coming up on this episode of Geek Show. Hi, everybody.
That's how you push a button, Tony.
Yeah.
You showed that guy that's not here.
Yeah. No, he's 10 times the engineer I'll ever be, so I'm not going to make fun of Tony for anything.
Tony is on assignment. The rest of us are here. Rebecca Frost, everybody. Rebecca
Hello.
Frost. Ooh, gross Rebecca on Twitter is a fun follow. Oh, look, it's Jay.
Yeah.
Jay Whitaker is here.
I'm back from assignment. I'm always on assignment.
And Lee George Cade.
I'll never sleep again.
Are you going to
Sleep when I'm
review?
dead.
You going to review Evil Dead Rise for us later?
Yeah, I changed the title to Evil Dead. No!
Evil Dead. No.
I ain't gonna lie, Lee. I can't even imagine you sleeping. I just feel like you kind of get in the hyperbolic time chamber and just kind of do this and then just emerge every 4 days.
Stand up like a Nosferatu.
Yeah.
You rise up out of a goo vat.
I can see that.
That's so cool. Like Harkonnen. Yeah, I could like become Baron Harkonnen, but not the David Lynch one because he's gross. He's gross.
All right, let's get into it then. Right away, we got this week our first look at Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven the Hunter.
It's Kraven time.
Okay.
Now you see that? That is
Awooga.
That is a gutter. That is.
Dude, have you guys seen his-
That is a
respectfully-
gum cutter.
Respectfully, have you seen his Calvin Klein advertisement?
no,
Advertisement?
no. Here's the thing: is that pose for the poster is taken just right from the comics. It's the same. I saw a side by side. I think it was J.M. DeMatteis did a side by side of the comic art and this, and it's exact, and it's just perfect.
It's just weird that Kick-Ass got abs.
I know, right?
What do you mean?
I mean,
It's weird.
well, he
How's that?
got his wife is like what, twice his age or something? Like,
Oh, let's talk about. Are we going to talk about this? Because like I watched the movie Nowhere Boy
We are.
where they met, which is he plays John Lennon, and then like they hooked up either during or after. It's a whole
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
and she is like 20 years older than him, and
he probably look at those abs. He's probably doing Pilates. You know damn well she owns a Pilates machine, and
Probably.
she's probably
I
got
mean,
the juice smoothies.
if they're
I
happy.
say, yeah, good for him. You can
Also-
fit the hilt of Milnor in that gum cutter right there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Indeed. You're hiding things in that. Let's see. They released the footage on Monday. We got Russell Crowe doing his best Russian accent.
I'm just saying, the only
Russell
thing
Crowe
that
is
well
bad
defined-
dad. Russell Crowe, he's going around being just a bad dad.
The only thing that deep on my stomach is my navel.
like
Store a pen in there.
But
you could
we
put
see
7-layer dip in that joint. Like
I have the opposite of his abs.
I'm writing 7-layer dip down here. All right. So the footage, while on safari to hunt lions with his father, Russell Crowe, who is a crime lord and a hunter, Sergei.
That's just Russell Crowe.
Yeah. Sergei is attacked by a lion after failing to shoot it. And he is seen as weak in his father's eyes, and he leaves him for dead. Yeah, like you do, you know.
Yeah.
But then apparently the lion's bite seems to have given him superpowers. Now that's not.
The lion drips blood in his blood.
Yeah.
It's in the trailer.
I sincerely hope that Sony just keeps making bad Spider-Man villain movies. Like, I hope to God this is another Morbius and another
It'd be
Venom.
nice
Yeah.
if they made a good one.
I'm sure it would be nice. But I really love these campy bad ones.
So
I honestly do as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I have hopes for this one, but here's the thing. You know, I mean, of course, the comic book nerd in me is saying that's not. You know, Kraven doesn't have these kind of powers. He's just a really good hunter, right? I mean,
Doesn't he have like a thing that makes him have better senses or something?
Does he have a power of some kind? 'Cause
like a
Power of
concoction or
abs.
a tincture that he takes.
I remember in my favorite one of my favorite Spider-Man stories, Kraven's Last Hunt, that he, to become Spider-Man, had to consume a drug and a lot of spiders. He ate a lot of spiders to absorb the essence of to become the thing that he hated most. He not only was going to kill Spider-Man, but become him,
I'm just upset because they obviously recast the best Rhino in cinematic history, and
Paul Giamatti.
Justice for Paul Giamatti.
We didn't see his face.
No.
It's,
We just saw his arm.
It's an actor named Alessandro Nivola who says that
Whatever.
who says,
Hot
spoiler,
Rhino.
he won't turn into the Rhino until the end of the movie. But
Spoiler alert. God.
because it's
The way they do these things, though, I mean, obviously, Kraven in the comics, and I'm not a big comic purist, but come on,
Neither
come up
am
with
I.
something a little better than, his lion blood got in my blood. You know what a male lion does all day? Sleeps.
Yeah, male lions don't do anything.
and
They're not the
smashes.
hunters.
No, so if the female lion had bled into him, then he'd be like, oh, he hunts for 20 hours a day, just like a female lion does. But a male lion literally gets up, roars, and goes to sleep.
And you're leaving out an important detail. He sleeps, smashes, and that's it. Like he.
You gotta forget, he does
right.
smash. He
No,
goes.
like
he
smash.
got to smash.
He smashes at least 12 times a day. That's why he's sleeping. That is a fact. Look that up.
Have you been in the open prairie and heard a lion roar before?
What are you talking about?
not in the
All the
open
time.
prairie, no.
Yeah, not on the prairie.
At the zoo.
No, there was a stunt. There was a stunt I got to do at a place called Wildlife Safari back in my radio days, and we were out with the ranger feeding the hoof stock, and about 6:15 the lion starts roaring. And there's this thing about being exposed where you're not protected by anything. There's no bar, there's no cage. You're just out there with a Jeep giving hay to the bing bongs or whatever the hell they were. And you hear that roar, and this thing in the back of your head goes, I'm dead.
I wasn't
watched
going to say
this-
back of the head. I was thinking something else.
I watched this TikTok yesterday of these like a whole group of like wildlife photographers, and they were like shooting some bears and stuff. And then this other bear, this is a defense tactic that they'll do. The bear will just like barrel at you at like 1,000 miles an hour, but it'll stop like before it gets to you because it's just trying to scare you. And this bear's just like running across the plain at like 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm like, these people are gonna die. But they all do the thing like bear, ah! And like get big and make noise, and the bear's like, oh, wait, never mind.
Yep.
Anyway, so go watch the trailer. It's interesting.
Also Google his Calvin Klein ad, the moving one, not just the photos, because
Okay.
It's sweaty making.
You're in for Hot Craven is what you're in for, right?
it's illegal in Utah. You know how we can't watch porn here? It's illegal.
We also got to look,
Oh, yeah.
or should I say, listen to the new voice on Solar Opposites.
What an upgrade.
I'll say. And I love the way they did it. It's online. You can look it up and you can listen to it. Because Justin Roiland, of course, the creator of the show and one of the main voices on the show, he won't be involved in the future. So they have to recast. Now, they haven't announced who they're recasting Rick and Morty yet. But on Solar Opposites, they've announced that Corvo is now Dan Stevens from Legion and all these great shows. And the way they did it was just genius. It's just this is how it's going to be, and deal with it. He throws darts. Somebody throws a dart into Corvo's throat, and then he goes, and someone says, "Go get the voice fixing ray." So they point the voice fixing ray at him, pull the trigger, and suddenly the voice is Dan Stevens.
And not like Dan Stevens trying to do a Justin Roiland.
And he's
Dan
not.
Stevens just being Dan Stevens.
It's just him. And then they say, well, we should fix this, shouldn't we? No, I'm okay with this. I just love
That's actually a really genius way to do that.
You fix the Rick and Morty thing, it's real easy. Like, just go to any comic book shop and say, hey, I need a Rick or a Morty, and there's like half a dozen guys there that think they're great at it.
But also, I would love to just shoot some credit to one of the other co-creators of the show, Mike McMahon. I never know how to pronounce his name.
McCann.
but he's the same guy who's the creator of Lower Decks.
Yes.
So
nice.
he is a very funny man and knows what he's doing.
So that's your new voice. We also got a trailer for. I thought this show was gone, but apparently it's not. And not only is the show gone, but the band is on tour, and they're releasing 2 albums. It's Death Clock, Metalocalypse.
Yeah, boy.
I'm with it.
Army of the Doomstar is the movie that is coming, and it's going to be available on digital and Blu-ray August 21st. After the heroic rescue of Toki Wartooth, Death Clock frontman Nathan Explosion finds himself traumatized in a brutal professional and romantic flat spin while he is tasked with fulfilling the prophecy and confronting the ultimate songwriting challenge, write the song of salvation and save the planet. So they've got the plot of Bill and Ted and the Tenacious D movie.
I was going to say this is just like a Tenacious D movie.
Play the best song
in the world.
Yeah.
But they're releasing 2 albums, touring, and a movie. So just when you thought Death Clock was gone, they're back. Of course, my favorite character is Murderface, right there, the one with the mustache.
Someday I'll actually watch the show.
It's quite funny, actually.
Okay.
All of our favorite Adult Swim shows getting one last rodeo, right? Like we got the Venture Brothers, we got
Aqua Teen.
Does this mean I might finally get a wrap up for Frisky Dingo? Because that is my show. I love Frisky Dingo with my whole damned heart.
We only got 2 seasons of that, didn't we?
Yeah. I need to know what happened to the reporter who had the radioactive ants in her body, because...
Yeah. Lee, I think you'd like this because it's like a death metal version of Flight of the Conchords.
Cool.
Yeah, it's quite funny. Do you know what I wish Adult Swim would revive? 12-Ounce Mouse. Can I get another season
12-Ounce
of
Mouse.
12-Ounce Mouse?
I remember that one.
That was I loved it. It was so
was a good one.
weird. You had to be so high to watch it.
Eric Andre show. He's gotten a new season and stuff.
I'm watching it now.
Swim favorites.
Anyway, all right, well, let's take a break from the news and remind you Saturday Matinee is coming up on the 8th of July.
Check it out.
And we thought long and hard about what should we show a 4th of July movie, and then 4th of July will be over. So I looked at what the 8th was, what memorable day is it, and discovered that it's Kevin Bacon's birthday. So
praise him.
We tossed around a few ideas. I was lobbying really hard for Footloose.
I was lobbying for She's Having a Baby.
But I think we all made the right decision. Tremors, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be showing Tremors on Kevin Bacon's birthday, the 8th of July, at Broovies in Salt Lake City. The doors are open at 11:30. We do the pod at noon, and the movie starts at around 1. Pay what you want to get in. So, Tremors, yes.
I'm going to pay $80.
Pay what you want.
I'm going to pay $80. That's what I want to pay to get in.
Okay, all right. I respect your journey.
All right.
Thank you.
In this economy, yeah.
Oh, sure.
En esta economía.
We're going...
3 leches en esta economía.
Thank you. We've been enjoying Star Trek this week, and we'll talk about it later.
I've been watching so much Star Trek this week.
Be sure to check out the Space Show with Rebecca and myself. We're watching all the classic Trek episodes. Rebecca is tearing them apart, and I'm answering for their sins.
To be fair, I'm not really tearing them apart.
I wish you would. I wish you would.
Well, okay, then make the show worse. I'm sorry. I'm enjoying it.
Welcome to the cult. Let's see. But here's some Star Trek news. You can watch the Season 2 opener of Strange New Worlds free on YouTube, the first episode.
And too bad it's such a terrible episode.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Because Anson Mount's not even there.
Yeah.
Well, but you
mispronounced handsome Mount.
You get
you get Maximum Spock and plenty of Nurse Chapel and Dr. Mbenga and
Oh man, you get so much
Klingons.
Dr. Mbenga.
And Commander Pelia.
Mm-hmm. And Klingons and all that. So it's but you can still watch the first season of it for free on YouTube as well. Mm-hmm. Paramount Plus really wants you to join the cult.
I was just glad that they.
Do they though?
Well, we'll get to that.
I was just glad this second episode. I mean, no spoilers really. I'm so glad they managed to finally stop being such a woke fest and not touch anything politically relevant.
Yeah, they've stayed far away from mirrors and not holding up anything to society.
No, nothing at all. No one who has anything even resembling a sacred cow has anything to worry about.
Snowflakes, welcome.
Yes.
Social political issues, not in my Star Trek.
Yeah.
All action, all killer, no filler.
That's
No talking.
okay. Season 2, episode 1, all action. Season 2, episode 2, none.
Hi, I'm Jack Lemmon, and I'm looking for 11 co-jurors to help me try the fate of this person over here.
Which, I mean, good choice. You definitely could not open. I mean, for us Trekkies, you could absolutely open season 2 with episode 2. But I'm glad that they opened it with what they did with the Spock adventure, because that's how you gotta hook the people.
I'll just say
drama-
this. I'll just say this. It warmed my heart when Rebecca just said "us Trekkies." That did it for me.
I noticed that. I noticed that.
I do have one complaint about the first episode of season 2, though, is it ignited this whole controversy over what a crossfield class really is.
Nerd fight. Okay.
Naturally.
Anyway, go on YouTube and watch them all for free. Jay.
You know what I say about these people that don't like diversity, equity, and inclusion in space? When we get space travel, you don't get to go.
Nope.
No, you guys can go to the ocean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the ocean.
The bottom.
It won't be far.
It will not be far.
Let's see. Oh, speaking of Adult Swim, we got a 3rd season of Primal. It looks like.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. So if you enjoy Primal, you're getting a season 3, and
Get your Tartakovskys.
And Getty Tartakovsky says he's not quite sure what it's going to be, whether we're going to stay with these main characters or whether we're going to do something a little different.
I would mind to see something different. I mean, this show is such a sleeper show that people just quietly discover, and then you're like, oh my God, it's gold.
It's got a slow burn to it. People are just starting to pick it up.
His new show is exactly the same way. Unicorn Warriors Eternal is like this quirky, weird-ass steampunk thing, and I love it. And anybody I know who likes animation is not watching it, and I'm sad because it's good stuff. Oh, and Carrie, its DNA is Betty Boop, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, they're going back to like old Max Fleischer cartoons for some of their character designs, and it's like, you know, the main female character literally has that lips on the bottom of the chin type thing going on, and like the background, the cops in England, Victorian England, the bobbies, they look like old Fleischer guys with the big noses and the big bellies and short legs. It's good stuff.
It's funny you'd mention Betty Boop because she has been in my timeline quite a bit, along with a lot of other classic old cartoons. Because
Is it because she's getting a musical?
No, it's because Roger Rabbit's having an anniversary. And, you know, so I've been going down the Roger Rabbit hole about how it was made and, you know, how it almost wasn't made. And
there's some wild documentaries about Betty Boop because she's like, you can literally watch the evolution of animation in the early 30s when she was a French poodle and then slowly became a human because of some concerns about people finding a dog hot.
Well, there's a musical opening in Chicago towards the end of this year called Boop, the Boop Boop-a-Deucicle.
ooh.
Wow.
All right. More Adult Swim news. Mike Judge has got, and Greg Daniels, bringing their next animated series to Adult Swim. It is called Common Side Effects. It is a half-hour series about people's complex reactions to the revelation of the mysterious elixir of life. Sounds kind of heady. So that's on the way. We'll see what happens. The show is centered on Marshall and Francis, former high school lab partners who begin to unravel a conspiracy involving Big Pharma and the federal government to suppress knowledge of a rare mushroom that may hold the key to curing all the world's diseases.
Oh, baby, are they going to talk about how we should legalize shrooms because they're good for the brain?
It's
Maybe.
really good for people with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia.
It rebuilds neural pathways.
I mean, we're talking microdoses, though. We're not talking like mushrooms.
Trips are fun if you're in the right headspace.
It all goes back. I've been reading some books from Paul Stamets, oddly enough, the world's greatest expert on mushrooms. And
Discovery.
so great about mushrooms that they named a mushroom guy after him on Star Trek.
Yep.
But mushrooms are the future because that's all we're made of.
Well, that's the spore drive on the Discovery.
The mushrooms are the future.
I need to watch
Wild
this.
stuff.
Also, we got an interview with James Mangold because he's out promoting stuff, and they asked him about his Swamp Thing movie, and he said, "Well, yeah, we're going forward. While I'm sure DC views Swamp Thing as a franchise, I will be viewing it as a very simple, clean, gothic horror movie about this man/monster. Just doing my own thing with this, just a standalone."
Good.
I'm
good.
pissed. I am so pissed.
Why?
Not about Mangold doing Swamp Thing, but that Swamp Thing series they did on the DC app was really good. It was really good. It was a horror show and it was great. And
I don't think it's still on there, is it?
No,
they
No,
Max
probably not. They
removed
got rid of their. If it's they're just getting rid of stuff left and right.
they nuked it from
again. Physical media.
Yeah.
Also,
give it a chance for that.
the Spider-Man adjacent film about a Mexican wrestler who gained superpowers, El Muerto, has been pushed back. It's not on the schedule anymore. So what the future of that is, I don't know.
Yeah, he's going to go all the way around to being a good bunny by the time this comes out.
Exactly. Okay, here we go. Again, Rebecca, I can't wait for you to start watching Deep Space Nine, because if you like Star Trek,
I do.
Deep Space Nine.
DS9 is where it's at. I'll get me and my pops watched that as a kid. That joint is fire.
And one of the great characters is, of course, Garrick, Elam Garrick. And he's an
Just a simple tailor.
A simple tailor. An occasional tailor, occasional intelligence operative, and lover of drama.
Like the theater or like interpersonal?
Interpersonal.
He likes to stir the pot.
He likes to stir up S.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not very Starfleet.
He's not Starfleet.
He's Cardassian.
Oh, he's not Starfleet? Then have that, baby.
But the actor who played Garrick also wrote a book in Garrick's voice, and the whole this is a long time ago. I read this book a long time ago, and it's written as a long letter to Dr. Bashir, whom we kind of stand those two, Andrew Robinson, and he wrote the book because he knew more about the character than anybody apparently. It's called A Stitch in Time. Now, like I said, this book is out of print. I think I have a copy of it around here somewhere. But they're going to do an audio book with Andrew Robinson reading it as Garrick.
I am a fan of audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationship is amazing because it starts with Bashir being convinced that he's a Cardassian spy, but they end up talking and hanging out a lot, and it really helps explore. You watch season 1 and 2 of DS9, and Bashir is kind of a terrible character. Mm-hmm. So Garrick makes Bashir palatable, and it's great. Good stuff.
It's set after the events of DS9's conclusion. A Stitch in Time sees Garrick return to his devastated homeworld of Cardassia, writhing in turmoil after the Cardassian Union's alliance with and eventual revolt against the Founders during the Dominion War. It talks about his life, his childhood, his time in the Obsidian Order, all the way to his exile on DS9. It's bound to be interesting. August 1st is when that will be available.
Okay. All right.
You'll listen to that, won't you?
Nice little audiobook situation. Okay.
Speaking of books,
what's up?
we love the animated What If Marvel shows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, they're putting out 3 novels.
Okay.
What If books, and it's
What If books?
What If books? What If books?
Madness. How do they work?
Let's see. Here are they're being marketed as adult books rather than YA. It says here.
What if?
Here are the titles. What If Loki Was Worthy? A Loki and Valkyrie story. That'll be out March 12th, 2024. And then the second one, What If Wanda Maximoff and Peter Parker Were Siblings? A Scarlet Witch Spider-Man story.
What?
And then the one that I'm interested in, what if Mark Spector was a host to Venom?
Oh, that sounds cool.
Ooh.
A Moon Knight and Venom story. That won't be till October.
That
next year.
that I want to see the animation on that. Honestly.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I want to watch that. Sorry, I don't want to read it.
Sorry, it's a book.
Don't want to look at words on a page.
I like books, but I want to watch that.
No word of any continuation of the best thing Marvel's put out in the last 3 years.
What's that?
Which is?
Werewolf by Night.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Yeah, that and Moon Knight. I'm
That
telling
was
you.
made for Lee. Yeah, Moon Knight was brilliant.
Both of them, I thought were great. Anyway, speaking of Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, available on Blu-ray and DVD. Let's see, the digital July 7th and the Blu-ray August 1st. And there's a whole, again, physical media. It's important now more than ever. There's a whole lot of featurettes and deleted scenes. There's a featurette called Creating Rocket Raccoon. There's one called The Imperfect Perfect Family. There's a whole bunch of deleted scenes that I'm really curious about because there's one called Drax's Analogies and Metaphors. Drax gives Peter some interesting life analogies and metaphors. That might be fun. But also, the best part, you can watch the film with audio commentary by James Gunn.
I love it.
Oh.
I love this
Worth it
movie.
right there, your physical media.
Where he
all
talks
right.
about how great he thinks The Flash was.
Just trying to help. Just trying to help.
It's my job.
What a divisive movie. That
Well, I'll
Flash
say,
has
isn't
been.
it,
Yeah.
though?
We'll get to
Yeah, Jay saw it. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Jay's got a
I'm
spoiler-free review, right?
All I saw was the best movie of all time, which I'll be
Okay.
getting to in a moment.
All right. Let's get to the business of show now. So Star Trek Prodigy, which I don't know if any of y'all watched. I did.
I'm ashamed that I missed all of it, and it's gone soon.
Like when this gets released, it'll probably be gone.
Well, I was going to say, you need to watch it this weekend because apparently they're pulling it off of Paramount Plus next week. Wow. So sit your ass down and watch it this weekend. But if you only have time,
so forceful, Gary.
But if you only have time for one episode, make it All the World's a Stage. That is, in my opinion, the best episode of all of them. But yeah, it's being canceled. It's the second season is in production right now. They'll finish production, but it's not going to go to Paramount Plus. They're going to shop it around somewhere else. So much for Paramount Plus being home of all your Star Trek.
Literally, every time I pull up my Paramount Plus app, I call it my Star Trek app because I don't use it for anything else.
That's all I use it for. I mean, there's
watch Yellowstone.
I'm not a dad.
The good news is you can buy this on physical media. There has been a Blu-ray and DVD release of this.
Yes.
So it does exist, but geez.
But this Paramount Plus thing, this is following in the footsteps of, your HBOs and all that. It's because they're merging with Showtime. Paramount Plus and Showtime are merging, and so I guess they got to make room on the shelves. I don't know, but
the digital shelves.
That's your warning, is that you need to watch it this weekend.
But I do have follow-up for you, Carrie. You asked a couple weeks ago because I said that I owned Deadly Class.
Yes.
And it never was released on physical media. I just got the first season. I mean, never released on physical media. So I'll see if I can burn my
burn me a Blu-ray,
legal and legitimate copy on Blu-ray for you.
Such a good show. Anyway, more business of show. It's just like everybody stood up and said, "Screw you, San Diego Comic-Con."
Jeez, yeah.
It started with Marvel saying we're not going because, well, we don't really have anything.
People aren't excited about us anymore.
Well, it's just with the strikes, we don't have anything to promote. Everything's been pushed back or put on hold. I mean, all of our shows, Thunderbolts, Blade, Daredevil, they're all, waiting for the writer's strike to get fixed. So they're skipping Hall H. I mean, they'll have some things there, but not a Hall H presentation.
Did attendance drop last year? I mean, I imagine after COVID for 2 years, and then when they cobbled things back together last year, all the trailers were hitting the same time as the presentations. So why go, right? Other than cosplay.
That's always been my argument. Is you either go for the convention or you go for the previews. And the previews,
Right.
if that's what you're going for, you don't need to sit in Hall H. You can just watch it from home.
We have trailers at home.
Yeah.
I will say, I attended a con. I
Uh-huh.
like to go and just be amongst the people, spread the gospel. You know what I'm saying?
It is
And
fun.
I didn't even care about the panels. I just wanted to touch, I just wanted to, press the flesh, be amongst the people.
But
It's
so it started with Marvel making the announcement, and then more made the announcement. They said, "Oh, Marvel's not going. Well, neither are we." So you got there'll be no panels for Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, no HBO,
Wow.
no
Well,
Sony.
there's no HBO
That's true.
that exists.
No Sony Pictures projects. I mean, and they could do something with Craven, I would think. No Universal Pictures, no Netflix. Still on the fence is Warner Brothers, which has some big ticket DC releases coming up. Max is planning on bringing some animation titles to the convention. Paramount Plus is touting the new Ninja Turtles cartoon, Mutant Mayhem,
Which looks so good.
which does look good. But July 19th wraps July 21st. Here's an idea: go to a ComicCon and focus on the comics. How about that?
What?
Crazy
No,
idea.
We've told the story before. I mean, some amazing comic artists have been to our local con, and so many people were going to panels and seeing celebrities that, Walt, you had some amazing guys, some legends that died shortly afterwards that no one even knew were at the convention, and it breaks my heart. Andy brings up with the SAG strike coming up, actors won't be able to promote anything. So
Exactly, yeah.
yeah.
That's all part of it. So, I mean, if you're heading down there, well, just know what's lying ahead of you. But yeah, go and see some of the artists. Buy some
Honestly,
art from them.
Let Mike
Absolutely.
Mignola yell at you.
Yeah.
'Cause he's grumpy.
Go tell Dan Slott that he ruined SpiderMan. Be one of those people.
Oh,
No, I love Dan Slott SpiderMan. I thought it was terrific.
I love following him on Twitter. He's so funny.
He's great. Let's see. Also, the other business of show. Oh, Egg says Humberto Ramos was here. Was there?
And not
And he-
promoted.
Probably. Are you talking about one of our cons here in Salt Lake, Egg?
If we're talking about artists at Archon, don't even get me
No.
started on how
Yeah.
Kate Leth was treated when she was here.
Oh, no. Yeah, it was awful.
No, Egg says Humberto Ramos was here at one of our cons and nobody knew. And he's one of the best Spider-Man artists.
No,
Anyway.
My thing, I remember Jeremiah Lupo coming and telling me that Bernie Wrightson had been at our bit at our con, and I was like, oh, I mean, we were there for 3 days. We were there literally pounding the pavement for 3 days, and Wrightson was there, like my comic book hero, and people were more freaked out about Will Wheaton being there than they were about this guy who literally inspired so many careers, and then, he died 6 months later, and it's heartbreaking. And from what Jeremiah said, no one was at his booth. It's like,
That's a tragedy. So,
Oh,
okay,
God.
go to San Diego and support the artists and writers.
Yeah.
How about that?
they're there. They desperately want to see you.
Let's see. The other business of show controversy this week was, and we'll have differing viewpoints on Secret Invasion coming up, but this was about the opening credits sequence. There was apparently they used AI to make it.
Yeah.
Now, the people that did this said that no artist jobs were cut using this, but
Because you never hired them in the first place because you knew you were going to use AI
Yeah.
to do the opening credits.
Method Studios, who did the openings, says AI is just one tool among many. The array of tool sets our artists use. No artist jobs were replaced by incorporating these new tools. Instead, they complemented and assisted our creative teams, is what they're saying. I don't really have an opinion on any of that other than I thought the title sequence was awful. It sucked. I'll say that. It sucked. It was not a good opening title sequence.
I'm going to say this I do our title graphics, our thumbnails every week, and I do
Mm-hmm.
use an AI generator for that because I don't have time to create the thumbnails every week, so we
Oh,
use
yeah.
them.
I get it.
And that's why I use them. But honestly, did you hear what's going on with the AI art right now? Is that so much shitty AI art has been created over the last 2 years that the AI bots are starting to use AI art to generate more AI art. So when they were very convinced the fingers, the hands, the
Hands are
the
just going to
faces
look
were going to
like-
get
like
it's just going to
this.
get worse because it's literally cannibalizing itself. And I know people that are making money right now selling AI art that they fed into a prompt machine.
All right. But
Yay.
Samuel Jackson was talking about not just AI, but some of his contracts. He's being very, you got to give this to Sam. He does not give a flying F. He says that they were. Let me find this. In terms of Jackson leading the show, Secret Invasion, which centers on Nick Fury as he faces an army of alien Skrulls who have infiltrated Earth, he said it wasn't something that he had been pushing for in terms of his character. He said, my biggest concern with Marvel was trying to keep them from killing me more than anything else. I like the gig. When they call and tell me what's going on, I always thought, well, they're trying to kill me. They didn't let me go to Wakanda, which I was upset about. How could Nick Fury not go to Wakanda?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been cool.
That would have been.
Like how? That still blows my mind. So wait, Rhodey got to go?
But Mans was in space.
Yeah, he
Doesn't
was
matter.
in space.
Doesn't matter. Brother gets that's the
Yep.
pilgrimage. Go.
But then he starts talking about his deals. He says every movie was a negotiated deal. It wasn't like you do one movie and the next one will be X more dollars. So he always signed on for just one movie at a time. He didn't sign
Good for
the
him.
multi-picture deal.
Smart.
He says it was better than that, but there are things I wish I'd been in on that I wasn't in. I wish I was in Civil War. If the kids are fighting, why isn't Nick Fury there to send them to their rooms? They never explained that to me.
Yes.
He does. He even has a line. This isn't a spoiler for the show. He has a line in Secret Invasion where, one of the Talos, I think it is like, I'm having a midlife crisis, or haven't even done my shopping spree yet, and and he asks Fury about his midlife crisis and like, what did you buy? And he's like, I bought the Avengers.
I like that line. Let's see. Also in Rolling Stone, he talks about, let's see, the writer's strike and all that. Why Secret Invasion wasn't exactly the thing pulling for in the MCU, working with Brie Larson. He says about Brie Larson, a stronger person than people will give her credit for, amid online harassment from incel dudes who hate strong women.
Love to see him standing up for Brie.
He also talked about the SAG-AFTRA negotiations and the role of AI in Hollywood, noting that it was a topic that he had already been thinking about since his Star Wars prequel days. He says, people are just starting to worry about that. I asked about that a long time ago. The first time I got scanned for George Lucas for Phantom Menace, I was like, what's this for? And he said, George and I are good friends, so we had kind of a laugh about it because I thought he was doing it because he had all these old guys in episode 1, and if something happened to them, he still wanted to put them in the movie. So it's like, he was concerned about this before. He said he had similar experiences through his time playing Nick Fury with Marvel. He said, ever since I've been in the Marvel Universe, every time you change costumes in a Marvel movie, they scan you. Ever since I did Captain Marvel, and they did the Lola project where they de-aged me and everything else, it's like, well, I guess they can do this anytime they want to do it if they really want to. He said this is something the actor says could be something to worry about. Has made him more careful when it comes to the language in his contract. Future actors should do what I always do when I get a contract. It has the words in perpetuity and known and unknown on it. Cross that shit out. It's my way of saying, no, I do not approve of this.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I love it.
Love to see it.
I love the brother. Oh my gosh, like he's
Smart
just
dude.
brutally honest. Yeah, and I love the fact that he is passing the game down to young actors because read your contracts, people. Read your contracts.
Yes.
As if Black Mirror taught us anything, read the terms and conditions.
Read the contracts.
Read the
And
contracts or
'cause-
get somebody smart to read them to you.
Yep, because then you can get more Disney checks or more episodes instead of 4 episodes of a kid show. I could have yelled at more Gen Z. I could have yelled at them kids. They could have paid, but I didn't read the contracts. If I would have just read the contracts, I would still be yelling at kids.
Was it
You
a
probably
secret
would
in
be.
your contract where there was like you can only yell at kids for 4 episodes?
Look, I don't know because I didn't read it.
That's the problem.
That is the problem.
You know,
Luckily,
it was in a book.
luckily we know a guy. We can send him your direction.
Okay.
Finally, this. Okay. Rogers the Musical. One of the great inside jokes in cinematic history, I think. First appears in the Hawkeye TV series, and it's awful. It's a parody of Hamilton. In
What do you
case
mean
you're wondering.
awful? It looks amazing.
It's also a parody of Disney, which
It is. They're making fun of themselves, and
Yeah.
it's so wonderfully tongue in cheek that it's almost too smart for the room. But they decided, okay, let's take this joke even further. Let's have it at Disneyland in the Hyperion Theater. You know where they do the live shows at
Wow.
California Adventure. So it's June 30th through August 31st, a limited run, Rogers the Musical. It's a 1-act show, and they've got more than just the one song. You know, Save the City was the song from Hawkeye. They're going to be adding Star Spangled Man with the Plan from First Avenger, Captain America. So limited run, go and see it. But they're also doing some Cap-inspired food around the venue as well. You've got the Avengers-inspired Shawarmizza. The Shawarma Palace will serve an Italian sausage, pepperoni, mozzarella, and pepperoncini variation in a garlic parmesan wrapped with marinara dipping sauce. So it's a pizza that's sausage pizza rolled up, essentially. But here it is, the Cap'n Everything Dog. It is a hot link wrapped in pizza dough, topped with everything bagel seasoning, served with a side of mustard cheese sauce and potato chips. Yeah, you can have
Fuck,
Caps.
that sounds so good.
You can have Cap's Hot Link is available for you to consume.
I can have Cap's Hot Link.
You can consume Cap's Hot Link.
I can finally put Cap's Hot Link in my mouth.
in your mouth. So there you go.
I'm
All right.
sorry, I didn't want to make that joke.
you had no choice.
okay.
I
Yeah.
had no choice.
I was just
It's
kind
in-
of
it's
rolling
in
it
her
out there.
contract.
I was rolling it out there so someone would make the joke besides me. But there you go.
Literally in your contract, Rebecca. You had no choice.
Yeah,
You can do
And
that
you
all
can-
day.
Yes.
I can do this all day. Yeah.
Let's find out what you guys consume this week. Who wants to start?
I'll go first.
Rebecca.
Started some new shows this week. Secret Invasion. I wish I was excited about a Marvel show. I'm just not. And then The Bear season 2 started this week, and
I'm mad. My wife is insisting that we let them stack up. And I'm like, why?
Honestly,
You always get so stressed out watching the
well,
show, you know.
Here's the thing. The whole season's out.
Oh,
You
it
can
is?
You can sit and binge and have just a really stressful day
On
if
the
that's what
Hulu?
you want to do. On the Hulu, yeah.
Oh, I thought they were releasing them a week at a time. Okay, great.
No, Hulu made the mistake of dropping them all at once. But so far so good. A love letter to restaurant. The second episode is really struck a chord about how difficult it is to open and maintain a restaurant, especially in this economic climate. Yeah, y'all know, and kind of food porny, like just I like The Bear. Went and saw 2 movies. After we record this, I'm gonna go see No Hard Feelings, starring Jennifer Lawrence. I wish I saw that before, but sex comedies are back, baby. I went to go see Past Lives, which is an independent film, written and directed by Celine Song. It's about 2 childhood friends who are separated, and then they reconnect years later in their lives, and it's all about, the notion of like fate and destiny and what could have happened and had our lives gone a different way. I liked it. It opened my eyes to the fact that I need more female film people in my life, because all of the reactions I've seen towards this film are from men, and they are all raving about it and how it wrecks them emotionally. And I'm like, that's cool. I'm having a very different reaction to this movie than it seems a lot of people are. Pretty good. An emotional, what if kind of story. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I went and saw Asteroid City, the new Wes Anderson film. I have been a bad film person, and I have not watched a Wes Anderson film since 2012. So I know I haven't. The last one I saw was Moonrise Kingdom. I haven't seen any since.
You haven't seen Grand Budapest Hotel?
I know.
It's so good.
It's not bad. Somebody was asking me about Wes Anderson, and they said, I've never seen a Wes Anderson film. I don't understand this whole thing. And I said, well, start with Royal Tenenbaums. That's a pretty good entry point,
Yeah. Well, the thing about Wes Anderson is he's very good. He's got one particular style, sure, but all of his movies have such a wide range of content, right? Like Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, like they're all Life Aquatic. They're all so similar in style, but just so different. Aquatic. Just so different content-wise. And Asteroid City really surprised me, too. It's kind of 2 movies in one. It's about a playwright writing a play about Asteroid City. And so half of, part of the movie is this playwright writing this film, and then the things that we have seen in the trailer are the play itself. And the word I want to use to describe it is cute, but that it's too weak of a word. It's very I don't have the right word in my brain thesaurus at the moment, but charming. Yeah, pretty charming. You've got an all-star cast, like everybody is somebody, right? I gave it 4 out of 5. I really quite enjoyed it. There are some moments that actually kind of caught me off guard, and Wes Anderson, it likes to kind of toy with things and surprise you with the unexpected, and I think he did that very well in this movie. So I absolutely recommend Asteroid City.
I had that with French Dispatch when it came out, a year or two ago. It's not my favorite movie, but it's like Edward Gorey. I watch Wes Anderson movies because I like Wes Anderson movies. I don't care if he reinvents the wheel
I'm not
every time.
this isn't a world-changing movie. I didn't have my whole perspective shifted and shattered or whatever. I had a fun time at the movies.
I couldn't finish the French Dispatch. Jay disagrees with my Royal Tenenbaums recommendation.
Look, okay, I don't disagree with it. I watched it when it first came out, and I was on some different shit back then, and so I just never. I was just like, what is this? What? I wasn't familiar with that type of white yet. I guess I don't know. Maybe
that type of white.
That's the best way I could describe it, because we were all I was sitting there watching with the homies. We're like, what are we? We just couldn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what was going on in our lives.
Jay, your mic is being so.
We're losing you, Jay.
Most people are. Okay, is that better?
No, you're digital. It's your connection.
You're turning into a robot.
It's your connection.
Great.
Once you reset, and then we'll come back to you.
The jig is finally up. Jay has been replaced by AI.
Oh no!
He'll be back. Lee, tell us what you consumed.
All right, so. I promised my youngest that when Evil Dead Rise finally hit HBO or whatever the hell they're calling it this week, I would sit down and watch it with them. And my wife said never in her life has she seen me curled up in a ball with this look on my face for an hour and a half.
Good and scary.
Horror movies do not bother me, but there's certain types of mutilation that do, and I think they just went into my head and said, "What bugs Lee? Let's do that." Plus, there's a family dynamic in play here that really messed with me. There is, as Rebecca put it, the greatest title ever.
Card drop. Oh, it's so
it's
metal.
Fantastic. This is a slick, well-made, well-acted. Found out last night that every single actor in that movie is not from the United States, so kudos. Good kid actors, and decisions are made that I was not prepared for. I loved it, and yes, if you really want to know, Ash Williams does have a cameo in the movie.
Okay.
I was surprised when I found out where it's at, which implies a whole bunch of fun stuff. Carrie will talk when you watch it.
Okay, well now I have to Google it because I didn't know.
Ash is known for several things other than fighting Deadites and working at S-Mart, and yeah, it just implies that things did not go well when he read the 3 magic words.
Okay.
Yeah, Strange New World or Strange New Worlds, Star Trek. Oh my gosh, you guys. This goes back to this great legacy of, I think this is the 5th courtroom drama episode of Star Trek. You have the one where was it Gene Smart was the lawyer for Starfleet that was going to take Data's rights away as a human being.
Gene Smart was a lawyer in Star Trek?
Yeah, there's an episode with Captain Pike going back to the original series, another courtroom intrigue. This episode,
The Menagerie? Is it The Menagerie? Parts 1 and 2?
Yes.
Part 2, the best episode of Star Trek, the original series I've ever seen.
It's really good. But there's some little things in here for old classic Trek fans that I loved, like the little brocade chest ornament that everybody was wearing in the courtroom, straight from the original series. And they had the little yellow rectangular computer chips that they kept putting into the machines. Yep. So just little tips of the hat. I love that. Trying to finish up season 4 of Discovery. I loved the show, but it's really dense because the entire crew of Discovery is scientists. And yes, I understand people, they showed a crossfield ship in the first episode of season 2 of Strange New Worlds, and Discovery is also a crossfield ship, but it's an experimental ship because of the spore drive. So please relax. It's all okay. It's not a different universe or an alternate reality. The last time I watched Veep was when Selena Myers lost the election and had to sit on a bleacher while the helicopter flew away to get gas. I did not see the most recent episode or season. That show is so damn funny. And oh my gosh. But I watched the greatest movie ever made last Sunday. And this is my opinion. Of course, mileage may vary on this. But the new Spider-Verse movie.
Oh.
Yeah, boy, best movie ever.
It's not just, in my opinion, the greatest comic book movie ever made. It didn't just look at the first Spider-Verse movie and say, yeah, that's too tame. This movie is bonkers, and it's so good. It's the first time in a long time that I've walked out of a theater just feeling numb and weird and tingly and excited and amped up and pumped up of adrenaline. It is so damn good. It takes animation to a level that I think if you were to show this to animators 100 years ago, they wouldn't be able to sleep for a year.
Their brains would explode.
Their brains would explode. It's so good. And it would have been amazing even if the story wasn't good. And the story is phenomenal. And it's just... And then I just found out today the lead editor for Spider-Verse just admitted that there are multiple edits of the movie out in theaters.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really?
I saw that TikTok.
Yep. They some subtle dialogue changes, subtle scene changes. One of the characters who has a very unique approach to fighting the Vulture does not have that approach in other edits of the movie. It's amazing. And Carrie, several of your favorite Spider characters are in this, and they have some fun with Ben Reilly that is going to make you the happiest boy in the world.
Yeah.
So
Good.
I went to Target yesterday, and I was looking at the toy stuff. I don't usually look at toy stuff, but there were 2 packs of Spider-Man of the Across the Spider-Verse toys, and one pack had the complete set, and one pack was missing a figure that was stolen. And and if you can guess, it was Spider-Punk that was stolen because that's what he would want.
Spider-Punk. I mean, I'm trying. This is not a spoiler. Spider-Punk is done basically by collage. The entire animation style is collage.
Oh, perfect.
Well, he's animated at parts of him are at the different frame rates.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just mind-boggling. And there's
Genius.
just like there's so much going on with this movie. I was, from an illustrative standpoint, completely gobsmacked by the whole thing. From a storytelling is great. I'm bawling at parts of it because the family dynamic is so good and so well done. And just like I'm sorry, it's like God's perfect movie. If I believed in God, this would be the thing that said, yes, thank you. That's my reward for being on this mortal coil.
You've convinced me. I'm going to go this week.
Yeah,
Did you read about the kid, the 14-year-old kid that animated parts of it? 14-year-old kid, young black kid.
His dad bought him a new computer so he could do it.
Yep.
The Lego animation.
Yep.
All right,
brilliant.
Jay, next.
Can you guys hear me good?
Yes,
you
you're
sound great
connected.
now.
You're great.
Yeah. First off, I want to say thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to attend Awesome Con last week on y'all's behalf. Should be finishing up the video. Let me just tell you, it was so nice to be at a con for the first time in a long time. It was so Awesome Con is, if you're not familiar, it's based in the Washington D.C. area. If you don't know anything about D.C. is a melting pot of a lot of things, and so that reflected the con. The local con, I don't want to mention the name, but the local one that we used to go to, not a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They try, but you get what you get. This con was completely different, and it was amazing. I met so many. I'm trying to stop myself from getting emotional, but I met so many people of color that were content creators, animators, writers, and I got invited to BlurredCon, which is coming up in in Arlington, Virginia, in a few weeks, and so it was just packed. It was such a nice people were gender bending, so many cosplays, and didn't matter. It was just so fun, and the energy was different. It was inspiring. I didn't get a chance to meet any celebrity guests. The only person I did meet was Mad TV's Phil Lamar and my Jon Stewart from all super nice guy. I always on. He was I was like, Phil, can we just talk? Can we just talk regular? And he starts doing all the voices, starts doing Static Shock, Samurai Jack.
You're I don't need voices. I just want to talk to Phil Lamar.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm a comic. I'm just talk to. He's like, oh, okay. You're a comic. You're funny.
Is he like the UPS man, just like in real life?
Yes. That's he defaulted. When I told him I was a comic, he immediately defaulted to UPS guy.
Oh,
God.
And
he was like,
Wow.
So you're a comic. You're fun. And I was like, oh, my God.
I'd like to speak to Phil right now.
Yeah,
please.
but he was super nice, and but what really stole the show, we're all at our computers right now, and if you are listening to this, stop whatever you're doing right now, because I got a question for you. Carrie, you like the movie Big Trouble in Little China, correct?
Yeah.
Lee, it's
more Lee's jam than mine.
But we all on this panel love kung fu flicks from way back in the day, right?
Yeah.
We all love some hip hop, right? We all love animation. I need everyone to go to justcope.com, JUSSCOPE.com. I met Justin Orr, who by far had the best artwork, hands down, at the con.
This is good stuff.
I have never seen anything like this stuff. And he was like, I'm ordering everything. Voltron.
Look at this Baba Yaga print.
Yes. John Wick. Mortal Kombat.
That Big Trouble print is amazing.
Yes. He's doing the old, I know there's a style for it. I can't figure out the name of it. I know, that's why I was like, Lee, you got to take a look at this. But it's amazing. His artwork is amazing. Go buy his prints. Super nice guy, and he's from Oaktown. What's up? Town business, California in the house. And then, lastly, I gotta recommend that you check out. I bought so many comics from different creators, and this one caught my eye. It came out in 2020, and I don't know if people saw it, but it's called Tuskegee Heirs, and it's basically about Tuskegee Heirs, Flames of Destiny, futuristic sci-fi adventure comic book series set at the end of the 21st century. It follows a squadron of young, gifted black aviators who are forced to become Earth's strongest line of defense against a menacing race of artificially intelligent villains bent on destroying civilizations. This goes all the way back to the original Tuskegee Airmen, a big part of the reason why I joined the greatest Air Force, and I was raised on these stories. It is the artwork is phenomenal. The writing is great, and the gentleman that wrote it, Greg Burnham, I want to say, is currently also writing on DC's Milestone New Initiative for the new talent showcase. They're bringing that back. There was just so much good stuff there. So I had a great time at the con. You'll see the video, but I just wanted to give that some love. And now, here we go. Me and my good friend JL Gribble, she's been on the show before. Her and I went and saw a problematic ass Flash movie, and
Okay.
We watched it. We were like, I texted her. I was like, "Hey, girl, you want to go see this problematic ass movie?" And she's like, "That's pretty. That's generally the text." And let me tell you right now, I enjoyed it.
You did. Huh?
That's okay. And you know what? That's okay.
I know it's not for everybody, and I do not mess with Ezra Miller. But I liked the story. It made me laugh. It was funny. It was entertaining. It wasn't perfect, but I was, for a first time in a long time, I was enjoying a DC movie. And to me,
that's an accomplishment right there.
That was an accomplishment. I was like, I'm enjoying this DC Comics movie. Michael Keaton was fun to watch again. We all know that's not a spoiler because you've seen the trailer. You know he's in the. There is one little thing that's being spread around the internet that will make you laugh out loud, and they nod to a lot of the series and the way that they do. Flash's style of running is just next level. It's cool to see the Speed Force and the way that they do it. I don't like I said, I do not mess with that alligated man, but I see why Hollywood, like, this is one of those movies where you're like, all right, so his power is super speed and privilege. Okay, all right. So it is. I was like, okay, all right. I don't condone it, but entertaining movie.
All right. Strange New Worlds, Episode 2, some of the best Trek you're going to encounter. Go and enjoy it. Yes. Let's see. Secret Invasion, first episode. Not great, but not as bad as everyone is saying it is, I think. For me, it worked out nicely. I think it's going to be a nice little spy thriller once it gets going.
I sure hope the ending is a misdirect.
The ending of the episode?
Of the first episode, yeah.
I have read that it is not. So,
then I'm going to hate watch the rest of this show.
But the big thing for me this week was I finally got to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Finally. Are you okay?
Finally.
Are
No,
you okay?
I'm not okay.
I'm here if you need somebody to talk to.
I'm not okay. It's the Guardians movies speak to me on a level that, I mean, the Marvel movies speak to me on a certain level, but the Guardians ones really speak to me on a level because of so many things. But I'll say this, not for kids, this movie.
No.
Not for little kids. We get our first
some adults.
Well, and not for some adults. We get our first F-bomb in there, but that's not the not for kid part. Very dark. It gets very dark. And again, this is okay for me, and your mileage may vary.
You're not a kid.
Because I'm not a kid.
Or a certain adult.
He's a grown-up, not a baby.
But it went darker than I thought. And again, it just cemented Rocket as my favorite Avenger. He will always be my favorite Avenger.
Thanks,
But just a brilliant movie. I just thought it was terrific, and the music is of course wonderful, and so much humanity.
Spotify is trying to really push a Guardians of the Galaxy limited edition cassette tape on me.
Really?
Spotify is like, hey, we have this fun thing for you if you want it. And I'm like, oh no, thank you, I'm good.
I'll take one. I don't have I mean, I'd have to hook up my cassette player again. But,
yeah, I don't have this ancient technology in my house.
I just, once again, Rocket, my favorite Avenger. We understand why he's such an a-hole.
Who could blame him?
Who could blame him? You understand now. He understands why he's such an a-hole, and he's probably going to he won't. He'll reform a little bit, not much. All right. Tony's not here for games. So what we'll do is we'll wrap this up and go to our private party now. Yeah. Oh, Jay.
I do have one game recommend, and that is that you go out and you buy. This game is so fun. F1 2023. F1 racing. If you like, yes, I'm telling you right now, it's so fun. Like, I want to get one of them steering wheels and like just get one, like, screw the control. I want a steering wheel, but check it out. F1 23. Great.
And Shipwreck Sean says, now go back and watch the Guardians movie with the perspective about it being Rocket's story. Oh. James Gunn always said that. All right. And don't forget to join us for Saturday matinee at Broovies for Kevin Bacon's birthday, Tremors, on the 8th of July. The doors at 11:30, the pod at noon, and the movie starts at 1. Pay what you want.
That's
Lee's
just my
hand has tremors.
That's just my policy. Yeah.
All right. Let's head to the private party now, the after party. If you're a Patreon member, you can join us. If not, be a Patreon member. GeekShowGotThisCovered.com is the link that takes you to our Patreon. And then once you join up, then you'll be sent a link, and you can join us for the after party.
We'll swear at least twice.
At least.
Yeah,
That's
hey,
once.
I'll swear.
you
as much
follow
as
me
I
on
want.
OnlyFans, I'll swear a bunch.
OnlyFans is just you making pancakes and singing songs. I watched.
And mowing lawns.
I was subscribed for 2.5 years. It was quality content.
All right, then. Live long and prosper, bitches, for the culture.
Goodbye.
Bye.